Alrighty. Well, we'll get started. I think looks like people are jumping on and jumping off when they find out we're not chatting. So, yeah, we'll get stuck in. I think.
Sweet
Thanks to
as.
everyone who's tuned in, Mum especially. Yeah. So I'd like to welcome Caitlin to Fit for Fifo.
Hey guys.
This is our first official live episode. So we've done. I logged on to a live one during the last interview that I put up, just for a few questions and stuff, which was pretty cool. Just so you all know that we'll repost the full interview on Facebook, YouTube, and the best bits on Instagram, so you'll be able to catch us there. Secondly, we've got a few pretty interesting interviews coming up, which I think a lot of people will get a lot from. I did one interview with a yoga instructor, so she worked in Fifo for 7 to 8 years, and she worked as a yoga instructor, and yeah, she had a pretty interesting exit from Fifo. So yeah, that'll be one worth watching, I think, for everyone. Also, we have an electrical engineer and a young lady who's also competing in bodybuilding. So, and while managing doing Fifo. So yeah, that should be a pretty interesting one. They're coming up in the future. But yeah, tonight we've got Caitlin Mitchell, former nationally ranked professional swimmer turned Fifo worker. So welcome, Caitlin.
Yeah. Hey everyone.
I thought firstly we'll start with how we came to be chatting and why you're actually on here and stuff. So do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I noticed your group you got, Fit for Fifo, and just I'm in the Movember challenge, taking on a challenge, trying to swim with my partner 60K for the month and raising some money. And I just dropped you a line and mentioned that I hadn't really noticed anything about Movember, and it's a pretty big thing, especially in the mining industry, whether the guys can grow a mow or if they're moving, doing something. And I just sort of said, hey, how about giving us a shout out? And we just started chatting.
Exactly,
and then you learned about me.
That's right. Yeah. And I did, I was doing an interview that day. So we did a shout out, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, what a great opportunity to have a chat about it. And yeah, I was actually a bit slack on the whole Movember thing, to be honest. It went straight over my head. So thanks for bringing that to my attention.
It's all good.
Yeah, and then we started chatting about your journey in Fifo, and it sounded like a really interesting story, and you were happy to share. So so here we are.
That's it.
Yeah. So firstly, do you want to tell us a bit about your swimming career?
So, been swimming competitively for about 15 years. Nationally ranked, so top 5 in Australia, top 10 over various events. Mainly the medley and backstroke. Dabbled a bit in open water 5K swims towards the end there. And so I've literally, even though I was studying and working, they were only little part-time casual gigs, because swimming, I was an athlete, so swimming was my main priority. And it was only till about 15 months ago when I actually I retired and walked out on my own terms, happily. Wasn't forced out, walked out, finished what I wanted to do, completed what I wanted to do, and was ready to embark on the outside world. Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's awesome. And what did you use to compete in? What sort of tell us about like all the competitions and stuff that you did?
So coming from Queensland, we've got probably the hardest or the best state in swimming. So I was always competing at a very top level anyway, if it was state or regional championships, Brisbane championships, and then we had national championships, represented a few teams, didn't do Olympics, so wasn't one of the greatest top 2 swimmers, but made many teams, got plenty of records over on the East Coast, probably starting to be broken by now. But just literally having a bit of fun and pursuing something I was good at.
Yep. So I'm sure you're rubbing shoulders with a lot of those those Olympians rather.
Oh God, yeah. Your normal Brisbane meet, you'd still see Stephanie Rice or Emily Seebohm, all those girls up there, and it'd just be a normal swim competition. It wouldn't be like starstruck. So it was good fun.
Oh, cool.
Good fun.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, so I usually run a segment on this called Stalkbook where I go through a few photos that I've found on someone's Facebook, and that's to sort of introduce the character and or the person that I'm talking to, so people get to know them a
Yeah.
bit more. But I've actually come up with a better idea. Well, what I consider a better idea, and so I've actually pulled up a newspaper article
Oh
that I
God.
thought was pretty interesting, and I wanted to read the first part of it, and then you tell us a bit about what happened there, if that's cool. All right, so it starts off, it's hard to imagine Tasmania as being a hotspot for a summer swim, but for Ipswich swimmer Caitlin Mitchell, a quick detour on a family holiday turned into a memorable moment at 7 Mile Beach. Signing up on the day, the Bellbird Park resident joined more than 100 competitors for the 1.2 kilometre Pier River swim on New Year's Eve. Underdressed in her beach swimmers, Mitchell took on the wetsuit-clad locals in the third race of Tasmanian's Ocean Swim Series. And this is Caitlin speaking, I believe. I just went out for the holiday. I just went down for a holiday with my family, and there was a swim going on there. She said, "I thought I would take my swim togs with me and see how I go." We rocked up on the beach, and the usual clubs were there. I didn't know anyone or what to expect. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
the first part of it. So tell us about what happened there.
Tasmania. So I
Yeah.
went and had went with my mum and dad. We went to Tasmania for a bit of a family holiday. It was the Food and Wine, or the Taste Food and Wine Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was there, I'd noticed that they had a swim linked with
Yep.
the Food and Wine Festival, and it was
Uh-huh.
supposed to be in the pier of where they host it. So I thought, why not? It's only like 1,200, 1,500 meters. Why not have a bit of fun?
Yeah.
And this was leading into a couple months later was my last competition ever, was my national open water. So I thought it'd be a good bit of test race for it.
Yep.
So when we went there and I went to nominate, they were back in Queensland. It's sort of very official, and you nominate ahead of schedule and it's planned. I rang up and I said, "Oh, what do I have to do to compete? I'm from another state. Am I allowed to compete?" They're like, "You just rock up on the day. Like it's
Oh, right.
it's all cruisy." The
Yeah,
day
yeah.
before, they mentioned that they changed from the pier to the beach because the water quality in the pier was not safe for humans to be in.
Okay.
So we went to 7 Mile Beach, and it was beautiful. It was flat as a tack. They went to set up. It was everyone's wearing big long thermals. You know, you're in December in Tasmania. You'd think it'd be a bit warmer, but it was chilly and overcast.
Yep.
And I just had sort of normal togs on.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know anybody, and everyone, even the ladies nominating, knew everybody, and they didn't know me, and it was all very exciting, but intimidating in that sense. And I was a mainlander, because I'm from the mainland. I'm not Tasmanian.
Right. So you saw as a
Anyway,
threat? You're seen as a threat?
a
Or?
little bit. We went out there, pretty basic, just handheld stopwatches, nothing electronic, nothing
Yeah.
too important. Went out there, and yeah, just thought, I don't know who I'm racing. Took it out, went around the first buoy, came out the back, and I had a joke with the people we were staying with. I said, "I bet you I'll catch the guys at the back." So they did the men's first in one wave, and then the girls went. And I said, "I'm going to catch the guys at the back, and if I do, then you're buying me drinks tonight." And he's like, "Whatever." So I ended up overtaking, coming through, and yeah, finished up. And I wasn't liked because I won some prize money and the cup.
Oh, wow.
And I was a mainlander. I was a mainlander that won out of town.
Yep.
The one thing I do really remember from that swim is the burning sensation of the cold water for about the first 200 meters. My skin was pink and burning.
Really? Oh my God, yeah.
But it was good fun.
And I think
we swam 1,800 meters because how they set the boys up and everything, it just wasn't. It was very laissez-faire, but that was what was good about it. So yeah, it was just a fun thing that turned into this massive event because I was on the news as well in Tasmania, and the men's, a guy from the Gold Coast won as well. So the mainlanders had taken over on the big event. So yeah.
Unhappy. Not a happy Jan.
Not at all. Not at all.
What, do you know what the water temperature was?
I'd say it was probably 20 degrees or under 20 degrees for sure. I could exaggerate and say it was 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wouldn't let you swim in that. So
yeah, it would have
probably
been
around
fresh
20.
as. Yeah, it's still cold though to be in the water. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I enjoyed reading that. I was just looking for photos and that popped up. So yeah, that's a good one.
It was a good way to bring the new year in.
Yeah, for sure. So do you want to tell us now about exactly what you do in FIFO and maybe a bit about your transition from uh, competitive swimming into becoming working in FIFO?
Absolutely. So I actually moved over to Western Australia for another job I had in the sports industry. And
Right.
then I've always sort of wanted to work in mining
Hmm.
in the role. So I'm currently a taste life coordinator. Other people may know it as a wellness coordinator or a lifestyle advisor or something like that
Hmm.
at their camps or sites. And yeah, so I stumbled upon a job as a taste life coordinator, and I've been working in this role for 14 months now.
Hmm.
I work a 2 weeks on, 1 week off swing. I'm currently the full-time TLC, as we're known, at Gateway Village in South Headland.
Hmm.
Not only is my office in the gym and I can do PT programs, classes, but the program that I work for also encapsulates to do mental health. So
Hmm.
peer group support, people want to have a chat, need some help. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
We do monthly health topics. So
Hmm.
we help people with quitting smoking. We do 8-week challenges for weight loss. I also
Hmm.
do all the events. So all the social events we do, Chase the Ace at the Tavern, fundraising, charities, bringing musicians in to the site to play, just creating an atmosphere on the village, I guess, or at the site
Yeah,
that we're
cool.
at, encompassing
Nice.
everything that is health, because health isn't just physical and mental, it's
Mhm.
social, it's everything. So
Yeah, of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
so that's my role here. Yeah.
And you were saying a lot of the programs that you run, like you're actually you're allowed to or given permission to sort of set it up yourself or design it.
Make it
Is
our
that?
own. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
Taste Life is under Compass Group. So
Hmm.
any site that is run by a Compass Group or ESS, the
Hmm.
TLCs, we all have the same health topics each month or areas that we're working towards, but
Hmm.
we're fortunate enough in that we can use our own creativity to get that information across.
Okay.
Or if we're going to do something for Movember, not everyone's going to be able to grow beards. Someone
Yeah.
might do a quiz night or a trivia night to fundraise for that event. So, yeah,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
it's pretty cool because you can still
Yeah.
bring your own creativity and ingenuity and
Yep.
experience
Hmm.
into the role. Exactly.
Hmm. Oh, nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, transitioning from a professional swimmer into like
Yeah.
FIFO, what
Yeah.
was some of the biggest challenges that you found?
Um, Not having a nap during the day is definitely. So, as an athlete, sleep is one of the biggest recovery that you can have. And so,
Yep.
on an average day, I'd be up at 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. I'd go to training. I'd come home, have a big feed, have a nap, or go to gym. You'd always have a couple hours during the day where you can just rest and relax or zone out, do nothing, and then you're sort of psyching yourself up for your afternoon.
Yep.
So I guess you could say, like, I've gone from doing a 12-hour training day to working 12 hours. I know there are other athletes that could say just working a 9 to 5 job is just as hard, which it is,
Yep. Hmm.
but doing a 12-hour job, you literally are working for 12 hours in FIFO. You
Yeah.
can't go anywhere to have lunch out or anything like that. You're literally at the site or at your workplace for 12 hours nonstop. And then it's like, well, if you get up early to do something beforehand, I've got
Hmm.
to get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning again. And
Yep.
then there's no break in between. There's no debrief of driving from your workplace to your training or anything like that. You literally you're stuck. So,
Yeah.
and in my role, for a while, I was more or less not only just trying to learn the role and make sure I do the right thing for my
Mm.
job, but
Mm.
I was more concerned about everyone else and worried about everyone else and what they were all doing
Mm.
and helping them. And I wasn't helping myself.
Right.
So that was a big thing that took me a little bit because as an athlete too, you don't realize it, but you are selfish because you
Mm.
train. You might say no to somebody to go out and have a drink or coffee or something because you're doing for you. You know, you're training for the next event. Whereas here I was more too worried about everyone else and not helping myself. And I was just in that mentality of just up, work, sleep, up, work, sleep.
Yeah.
Just in a drone-like mentality. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And how do you feel similar at the end of like a day on the job, like doing FIFO compared to training, like exhaustion physically and mentally and emotionally?
Exhaustion, but totally different exhaustion.
Yeah.
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 I guess and when you're training, the exhaustion you're feeling that's physical, it's an exhaustion that you enjoy because you know that you're tired because you did that set hard or you did that time. You deserve to be tired. Like, that's a go you. You did a great job.
Yeah. Okay.
And you might get rewarded with a sleep in the next morning. I don't get sleep-ins 14 days straight. I don't get rewarded for having a good day. And so the exertion, also the heat, you know, if you're not used to the heat so much too, that really takes it out of you. And it's just another element to add. And the other thing is, towards the end of my day, that's when I'm actually picking up again to take classes. And that's when everyone's coming back from the site to do the gym and wanting to be social, and you got to push people. So I have to empower and motivate people towards the end of my day, and I actually find it hard to switch off straight away.
Right,
It takes me a couple of hours.
Yeah, you need to get like energetic again and try and boost these guys.
That's right. Like, I have a busy morning, middle of my day is quiet, and then I've got to perk up again. And then at the end of my day, I can't just eat dinner and go to bed. It takes me an hour and a half, 2 hours to really wind down from the day.
Yeah, right.
And then you do it all again. Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. So it's like similar, if not more draining than competitive swimming, you think?
I would say it is.
Or just completely different, yeah?
It is, but in a different way, yeah. So it's mentally, but as an athlete, you're putting in the time and effort, you're putting in the work, you deserve to be that tired. Whereas I guess in the work sense, you're just doing your day-to-day thing and it's just draining. It's just a long day, a long day, a long day. Yeah.
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 Right. And did what, I suppose, for you, leaving your career as a swimmer and going to something like FIFO, which is like, there's not a lot of information out there for people that do FIFO or that people want to get into it, and that's actually part of the reason why I started this. But was there what fears? You must have had a lot, like there must have been a bit of fear around like actually the whole transition and stuff that you had to overcome, I suppose.
It's a daunting process. I think overall in the industry, it's one of those things where you kind of just get thrown in the deep end and you learn to swim. So especially in my role, there's only one person. I'm the only one at site. So I didn't really come into an area where not many people know what you do, or it's not your area, so they can't help you and hold your hand the whole way through. You sort of just, you get here
hit the ground running pretty much.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But because it's such a high turnover as well, or people are moving around so much, it's hard to find something stable or stable people to help you. Because I know my first swing, when I first started, I made a few acquaintances and friends with people and they helped me out, and then I was at a different site and then I didn't know these people, and it's like starting all over again each time, which can be really daunting. The long hours, you do get used to them, but at the beginning it's a big day. It's like I said, you're not having that time to have a nap or anything, and by the time you finish too, I got people on the East Coast and trying to communicate with them when they're 2-3 hours ahead. It was hard. It was hard to really juggle that social life and have that supportive environment. So you really do feel alone as well at the beginning because you're on your own.
Because you went to the first job you went to, you didn't know anyone, did you?
No. I still, like, I know people now. I've been here for a while, but any site, And I guess the other thing, it's a little daunting being a female coming into it is a very heavily male-dominated industry. As much as there are females coming into it, and it's great, we're still a very marginalised population, in different areas. So you kind of, again, you feel alone. You do have to watch yourself in the sense of just who you talk to, and just be prepared for the fact of being on your own a bit more than everyone. You know, it does take a while for the layers of everyone to open up to you and to them invite you or to have you sit at dinner. I remember the first few swings I had at different sites, you know, I'm sitting at dinner on my own eating dinner on my own, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not like a family dinner where you might have a few mates. You're literally eating dinner on your own.
Uh-huh.
So
And
yeah.
and did you find that like that was probably the hardest time of when you began Fifo, like at the beginning when you were, you know, these sitting there by yourself, and were you thinking, what am I doing? Like,
For sure.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like, is this what it's going to be like all the time? Because
Mm-hmm.
this isn't great. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable. You know, I'm doing this work, but is it really what I want to do? Am I in the right
Yeah,
area? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And how do you feel about those fears that you had now that you've been in it for a while now? How long did you say you'd been in it? Sorry.
14 months. So
Okay.
I've
Well
been,
and truly settled.
yeah. So before I came
Mm-hmm.
to Gateway, I was at another site at Redmont,
Mm-hmm.
and I was there, and I actually made some really good. It's a small site, so I guess it was a bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the end treated you like family. So I was at a small site of about under 100 people.
Okay.
Set a bit of a reputation. Like I said, we're the only people on site, Taste Life. There's only one of you. So you do start to get to know everybody and create your own vibe and reputation. So that was really nice. I sort of had a support group where every afternoon we knew so-and-so was coming in, and a few of us would, you know, do a gym session together or something like that.
Yep.
I've been at Gateway for about 5 months now,
Mm-hmm.
and not only the people I work with, so for the people with my group, Compass Group, but just in general, everyone on site.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot better. You see people and it's all good to say, hey, how you going, and have a conversation. It's not just, how you going, because you have to say hi. It's that
Yep.
you want to say hi and go, how's your day going? Are you flying out today? You know, people want to tell you what they're doing in their life. They've got
Yeah,
you,
cool.
you're part of their workplace. So
Yep. And I
yeah,
think
it
you were
does take a
telling me
bit.
at the beginning, you felt like it was guys would walk past and you'd say hello to them, and they'd sort of just like keep walking and like, hi, and
Yeah.
then it was a lot of surface talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or in that, I've mentioned it before, I call it the drone-like mentality,
Yep.
because you're just going to work, doing your thing, going to
Mm-hmm.
bed. So everyone sort of walks around with their head down. They're not looking at their
Yep.
phone. They're just walking around. And as soon as you say hi or disrupt them, you've upset their flow. And it's like, what do
Yeah.
I do? What do I do? And you're like, hey, how you going? And then they're like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. And you're like, no, I'm just saying hi. So
Yeah, right.
yeah. I think
Oh,
they're
that's
used to
good.
it now. They get ready when they see me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good. Going back to your transition out of professional swimming.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, are some of the things you've learned and things that you could share with maybe other athletes that are leaving their career and, you know, their identity and their character of who they are and
Yeah.
everything, and they're going to take a step into something like FIFO or just a normal 9 to 5 job?
Yeah. That's definitely, I think, something, your identity, like you said
Hmm.
before.
Hmm.
For a while, I didn't know who I was if I wasn't Caitlin the swimmer.
Hmm.
I didn't want to admit it,
Hmm.
but in the end, I was like, yeah, you are Caitlin the swimmer, and that's okay, but you need to now know who you are somewhere else.
Hmm.
Moving from the East Coast to the West Coast as well, I sort of, I guess, really put myself in the deep end in the sense that no one had any clue who I was over here. Even if I wasn't working FIFO, just in
Hmm.
general, no matter what, no one knew who I was. So I wasn't
Of
Caitlin the swimmer.
course.
So it was an opportunity to, I guess, I don't want to say find myself because it's so cliche, but I
Uh-huh.
guess find what I enjoyed, find my hobbies. Because I was in a new area, I had to force myself to make friends and socialize and find the areas I like to socialize in. You know, was it
Hmm.
doing a Pilates group? Did I enjoy hanging out with, you know, ladies at Pilates, or was it a book club, or was it the
Yep.
surf club? Things like that. So
Yeah.
definitely anyone that's leaving the sport,
Hmm.
you need to be able to accept first that you soon enough you're no longer going to be, you know, the runner or the discus thrower or the footballer or things like that, but that's
Hmm.
okay. You can still
Yep.
have that person in you,
Hmm.
but you're no longer going to have that label. You're just going to be Caitlin Mitchell, not
Yep.
Caitlin Mitchell the swimmer.
Hmm.
um, Being in a sport though, I don't know about any other athletes on here, and if there are, please comment, but time management, discipline, you know, being proactive, setting goals is a really big advantage in the workforce to have. It really, especially if you're working alone like I am autonomously, it's easy to get distracted and not do what you want to do. But because I set goals each day, or I set tasks to do, goal orientated, I've got to do it before I can go on to the next one. But time management, being proactive is a big thing, and just knowing that things take time.
Yep.
You know, you're not going to get in the pool and swim for a week and expect to do a PB. So I know in work too, if I want something to happen, it will take time. And you also know to persist. Persistence, persistence, persistence. I don't know. You seem to not have as short of a fuse. I don't know. Things like that. But definitely time management, proactive, setting goals.
They
help.
So, yeah.
And why not keep using them, you know? Just because they're skills you learn in your sport, keep using them later on.
Yeah. No, I see that you pretty much actually, that's covered my my next question as well. And that was
Sorry.
That's all right. No, that's good. Yeah, I didn't even have to ask it. Yeah, no, that's good. So also working in, before you got into Fifo, knowing little about it, what are some things that have surprised you both positively and negatively?
Definitely the difference in sites. So just knowing family members and friends that work Fifo on the East Coast, I guess I was expecting the same sort of degree of what they had told me, what it's like. However, over on the West Coast, it's totally different. Sites, and I guess because we are over in Western Australia, it is the big mining industry, you know, so sites are really big, they're safe, they're innovative with everything that's happening. I feel comfortable as well where I am, and in the few sites I've been at, so it's a well established. It's well established. So sort of just from hearsay and whatnot, I wasn't really sure if it was still like, it's literally a cardboard box set in dirt, you're going to get covered in red dirt all the time, you know, that type of thing. Again, coming back to the whole female thing, I didn't really have an expectation. I wasn't sure, I guess I wasn't sure how I'd be received. Being a female in a male-dominated industry, I wasn't sure if I would be received with the same amount of respect. I do know that there are men that have been in this business for a very, very long time, and you can't always change ideologies or stigmas that are around that. So it's not bad, but I guess I was coming into it being prepared for massive marginalisation. But it's been nothing like that at all. So
oh wow, that's great.
It's been good. Yes. It's been good.
That's awesome.
I don't think I can think of anything else really. I didn't have too much expectation. I tried not to have too much on it and just sort of take it as it came and enjoy the process.
Nice.
So.
Okay, and working in your role, I suppose there's a lot of people you probably see them develop in like many different ways, because you know, like there's a lot of guys that probably haven't been in a gym for 20 years, and then they just rock up one day. They've realised they've got a beer gut, and they come in and they say, I want to lose weight, or I want to get fit, I want to play with my kids and stuff. I suppose you've probably seen some pretty big changes and stuff. And
we get it in, yeah.
And have you been surprised by like change in like everything, like attitude and stuff with some of the, like, I don't know, maybe some of the older guys or the guys who haven't been to the gym for a long time?
I am a firm believer that the environment that you surround yourself in is what helps you. So when I did come to Gateway, my major thing has been that if I created an environment or an atmosphere on site, the flow-on effect would be all those things. You can't really tell people to go to the gym because they're going to say, no, I'm not coming. But there are guys that come into the gym already and they know what they're doing, and whether they are, some of them, you know, a couple of guys actually in here have applied for Ninja. So they're all training to do the Ninja Warriors. And then you've got guys
how cool is that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, workplace health and safety doesn't allow us to have practice courses here, but big no. But, you know, the fact is it's part of their routine when they're here. So their gym work and training is part of their routine, and then it's when they go home that they fall off the wagon.
Right.
Then you have your old sporties, retirees, but this time they've been working for 10, 15 years, and then they've come back into the gym, and things have changed a little bit in the fact of how machines are, or the types of way you do exercises. So they come in and they know what they got to do, and they used to be a footballer, but they've been enjoying working and going to the tavern afterwards. So you do get those guys, but they know they want to lose weight. And then you might have I don't want to get in trouble for naming the occupation, but you have your truck drivers and your train drivers. And unfortunately, they work in an environment where they're sitting down for 12 to 17 hours a day. So, of course, how do you stay awake, and how do you lose weight? You can't really. So, unfortunately, a lot of them that have come into me might have, the reason they've come in is because they've either been diagnosed with diabetes or something like that, or they're on the verge of it because of their work lifestyle. And that's when they've come in to make the change. So, yeah, you have all different walks of life. Guys that come in because they have to, because they want to. It just, because they've had that shock. I mean, it takes some people eight swings to actually walk into the gym, and they sit down and they say, look, it's taken me a lot to get in here.
Yeah.
And first of all, I just ask them how long, and I say, congratulations, you've made the first step. Because you have to be realistic. You can't expect to, come in and work out for 2 weeks and lose 20 kilo. It's not Biggest Loser. It's more or less changing your lifestyle. It's I guess making use of the opportunity you have that there's a gym on site. So, you get a lot of it.
And and from what you've seen, I suppose with your experience in training and being an athlete, what's some things that you would recommend for guys in terms of like the sort of training they're doing, like how often they train, or even like how to get started and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Don't eat dessert every night. I know that's I know that's one thing with our buffets, that dessert's always on offer, and it's a sneaky pig of a slice on the way out of the ice cream container.
It's hard to walk past sometimes, isn't it?
But it's getting into a routine. So, if you're always finishing work, going home to going to your room, having a hot shower, then going to dining, change it up and have your shower, and then take a clean shirt, go past the gym. Even if it's 10 to 20 minutes, it's 10 or 20 minutes more than what you'd done the day before. Do something in there, then go to dining. Trying to set a realistic goal. So, you know for yourself, you're not going to go every day. You can't say, right, I'm going to go every day, because even I can say that's not realistic for myself. I can't do that. But try and set it and say, look, this swing I'm going to try and go to the gym 5 times or 6 times. And make small changes. A lot of the time, working out is great, but a lot of the time as well, it's our food and portions. So think of your portion sizes. We give it on our site, we give everyone the tools to make the best choices, but it's up to them to make that choice. We have all our food labels, we have them coloured green, red, orange, what's good, what's bad, but we don't tell them how much to eat. So having a lot of veggies, great. Having a lot of chips, maybe think about the portion size you're having. So just be realistic with yourself and know that on any site, everyone's going through the same thing. This is one thing that you're not alone with, and that's why we're here. That's why I'm here at my site, to help people. So it helps if you have another friend or somebody, and you start coming at the same time at the gym, and it's easier that way as well. But just putting your foot in the door, that's your first step. That's always the hardest one. So
and I suppose something you just made me think of before was how you said, like, accept that you might not be able to go every single day. Like, I think it's important, isn't it, that whatever you choose to do in terms of exercise, it should be sustainable, not be like a fad.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm going to smash the gym every single day of this swing, and I'm going to come out ripped and ready to go to stereo, whatever it is.
Absolutely. A couple of the gentlemen here, it's more of, do something that you can do when you are at home with your kids. So if that's going for a walk around the park, or some guys walk around our site and that's their exercise, and they can maintain that when they're home, because they'll go for a walk to the park and kick a footy with their kids or something like that. couple of
Yep.
them go to the pool, and they have a pool back home. So when they're on R&R, same days, they go to the pool and do their laps.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way to put it would be, do something that you can maintain that routine,
Yep.
or at least that same exercise. There's no point doing, say there's a machine in your gym and the other gym you go to back home, it doesn't have that workout. There's no point in doing that because you feel like you're a bit lost. Do something that you can maintain, and then you can see the results coming because you're not stopping and starting all the time.
Yeah, right. Of course, yeah. And I suppose that it's probably one of the things that makes it harder is your R&R, because you sort of feel like you're it's a chance for you to like relax and reward
Well, it's
yourself.
R&R. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah. I mean,
R&R for a
yeah.
reason. Yeah. Even
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
find myself having that issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very lucky that my partner and I, we enjoy working out, and that's something we can do together.
Yep.
But I know that there are some families and some people that don't have that, and they're the only ones working out, and they struggle. Or it's hard. You want to catch up with everybody when you're home, and you have a limited amount of time, especially
Yep.
if you only have one weekend home, and everyone
Yeah.
else is
For
working. You've got to
sure.
try and fit it all in.
Yep.
Plus, you want to have a sleep in. So,
Of course. Yeah. For those who can sleep in, I think after doing like FIFO for so many years, sometimes it gets a bit hard. Your
well,
body
night
like just
shift
wakes you up, doesn't
changes.
it?
Yeah, night
That's
shift
true.
change
Yeah.
is always bad too. So,
Yeah, for
yeah, but
sure.
if you can do something that you can, again, I'll bring back to Movember. The reason I also did that with my partner is it was something that we could do together while I
Mm-hmm.
was away.
Yep.
So he would also send me the sets that they were doing in the squad, which was
Mm-hmm.
helpful.
Yep.
We go on the same mornings,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd make sure that I go on the same morning that he goes to the squad.
Yep.
But then when I'm home, we're still able to maintain that. I'm still going the same mornings. It's not putting me out of whack. It's the same morning I get up early and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and we're doing it together. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
things like that.
Makes sense. Yeah, having a bit of community, I suppose, and that's the beauty of like technology now. You can stay in touch and contact with friends back home
Yeah.
and compare results or whatever, So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Keep
And live
accountable.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and live chat, exactly. Just before we get too far to the end, I saw there was a couple of questions, and I just thought anyone who's watching, feel free to put questions up, and we'll go to them at the end. Like we've only got a couple more questions to run through. So yeah, we'll just so everyone knows, post your questions so we don't have to sit and wait. Yeah, cool. So yeah, now actually questions. So I actually put a post up for anyone that had any questions for you. And actually, I think you might have already addressed it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So,
Okay.
Ben Alexander, I believe he works on the site, wants to know why you struggle to train abs with him so much.
I don't want to put Ben to shame. No, I don't struggle. I try not to show him up.
Yeah,
It's probably
right.
because I've sparked ab training into Ben, and I showed him a few different ab exercises that I learnt with swimming. And obviously he really enjoys it, and now it's a
Yep.
competition. So
Good.
so no, I've still got the better abs though.
Have you? Yeah,
Yeah.
that goes back to training, sort of having that community, like a bit of competition and stuff.
That's
Probably
it.
makes
That's
it
it.
a bit easier. Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So yes.
That's great. We'll just go. There was a question up above. I'll go through some of these questions or some of the comments and just check if we've missed anything. So yeah, there's all the first few. Phil wants to know if he was faster than you. That's a friend of mine. He was right into swimming. I don't know. You probably beat him.
If you're still watching,
So,
Phil, put a time of your event on, and I'll tell you.
yeah, go for it, Phil. So Patrick Sutton says, do you take your own healthy foods to camp also?
Yeah, for sure. I know I've worked both on a really remote site where we've had nothing for 4 hours, like driving 4 hours, and now I'm currently in one where I'm pretty close to a town. I'd always try and take, really depends too, if you're doing a diet. Like I know when I was out at my remote site, there were a lot of guys doing the keto diet, and I had explained to them that you need to try and control what you can control and help yourself
Mm-hmm.
by having more foods, because you can control what you eat in dining, but you
Mm-hmm.
can't control what they serve you.
Yep.
Myself, I do anything from things that are non-perishable, or long life. So I do have up and goes that are high protein ones,
Right.
just mainly for the fact of if I need something in a hurry, it's got a bit of protein and carbs, easy to slam down.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lucky enough to have a microwave or a sandwich press in your rec room or in your room,
Mm-hmm.
you can do so much with it, whether it's sausages or toasted sandwiches, wraps. You can get some stuff from your crib and make yourself a wrap if you need to, or eggs
Mm-hmm.
on toast or something. If there's barbecues, for a little bit I used to buy a bit of chicken thighs and
Mm-hmm.
cook I'd have a barbecue cook-off at the
Oh,
beginning of
really?
my swing, and everyone knew I was in because I was just eating chicken and rice.
Really? Yeah.
Anything to add to your meals. If in the crib there's always going to be roast meat, but then you want to control your other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Steam fresh, you chuck it in a microwave.
Oh, yeah.
There's these things, without being a product placement, called body meals, where they don't need any refrigeration because they're vacuum sealed in heat. I have a few of those on site,
All
so
right.
if I need something in a hurry,
Yep.
Bob's your uncle. Because I know that once they close dining for breakfast or dinner, that's
Yeah.
it. You don't even have any access. So, yes, I do take
Yep.
health meals. If you want to know any specifics, I'm happy to answer that, or any ideas, I'm happy to go afterwards. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that. There you go, Patrick. I hope you're still listening. Your friend Caddy says, "Hey, Kato."
Hi,
Caddy or Katie?
Katie.
Gillespie. Yeah.
Katie Gillespie, my sister.
Yeah. Oh, it's your sister.
It's my
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah. Right. Trevor says, "Hi, I'm a dump truck operator." G'day, Trev. How you going, mate?
Hey, Trev.
Do you write your own goals down so they remind you?
Yes. Yes. Back in my swimming days, I used to have a wardrobe that was mirrored, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
actually have my goals written, whether it was a specific time for an event or anything like that. I had it written so you wake up in the morning and you see it, or it's always there to remind you.
Mm-hmm.
These days, I have a few goals. That I have in my phone, and it's there for me to look at daily or weekly, or sometimes I come into the swing and it's like, what do I want to achieve for this swing? What do I need to do? What do I actually want to achieve out of it? And I'll write it down. And so every morning I just make sure, have I done enough for that? So it might be
Yep.
planning for an event in January. That's
Mm-hmm.
my goal. I've got to do that by the end of this swing. So
Yep.
whether it's short term, long term, still working on my long term goals. They sort of keep changing.
Mm-hmm.
I have little goals each swing for my actual health. So
Mm-hmm.
whether it's try and lose a kilo, or this swing it was, try and swim 6 times during my swing, things like that.
Right.
So yes.
Yep. And do you find a difference between writing down your goals physically, like in a book or on paper or on your mirror, like you said, or recording them in your phone?
I have
Like the
not in that
effectiveness of
aspect.
them, or
Not in that. It's more in the fact if I share it with people. So it's whether I keep the goal to myself and it's just there and I don't actually acknowledge it, or the fact of I write a goal and I share it. Say I share it with my partner, and then he knows about it and he keeps me on track with them.
And
So that to me, that's more of a difference.
Yep. So having an accountability partner, I suppose.
That's right, the accountability.
Yeah.
I can write it down and I know I've written it down and it's in
Yep.
my head and it's there. But actually being accountable for it and still working towards it, and not just saying I've written a goal, that to me is the difference. So, and he's probably watching right now.
Cool. I just actually had I must have missed a question there on my list, but an important one was your plan. So what's your plan with Fifo? Like, do you plan to stay in it for a while, and do you have like an idea of, how long you want to do it for, or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I'm actually really enjoying what I do at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I like being able to empower people, or have an influence in them. And it's not even just to be in the gym and be healthy, like chatting with you, hopefully it reaches a lot of people and gives them a bit of a spark. Or anyone that used to be an athlete, and they're in Fifo, you're not the only one, and post-athlete blues is pretty big. And, you know, the more we talk about it, the more everyone else coming into that and leaving their sport, it's going to help. So having that opportunity and being able to do that, I enjoy. It's not, I'd love to stay in this industry for a long time. However, being a female, having responsibilities of creating a family and things like that, probably many, many years down the track is probably not a job I want to be doing.
Of course.
So for sure, I'm happy to progress and stay in this position for a few years and maybe even progress a bit further within the company itself and wherever it takes me. But also in Fifo or in mining, there are so many ways to network with people. And I think one thing I've learned a lot is that by networking is more important than writing a CV.
Yeah, right.
So I'll definitely be taking the opportunity to network with people and learn people and learn other jobs, because there's some jobs out here that you have no idea about, and you only know them from people talking about them. So
that's right.
And that's how it all works. So definitely to stay here for a couple of years for sure, and then see where it takes me. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's cool. And we've got another question from James McFarlane. Do you know James?
Yes, I do.
So it's who's a better swimmer, you or your bloke?
All right. So a bit of background. I'm mainly a pool swimmer, whereas James is an open water swimmer. So
I see.
So James is very good at 5 and 10K open water. I don't know. At the moment, I'm still leading the lane, and James is dragging behind me. But considering he's been doing a few more Ks in this Movember, I think the competitiveness is coming out of both of us. And I could say stay tuned. But I don't know. I think we both have our own strengths. I'm going to say it's me because I can.
Okay. Yeah.
But it could be debatable.
What do you reckon, James?
Definitely me.
So back to Movember. So I actually didn't know that women could participate in Movember.
Yeah.
Until you told me, actually, which is really cool.
So it's taken me 28 years, and I'm still not really getting that happening.
You might be going better than me, though.
Yeah, just do these ones. So yeah, I think the Movember campaign, I noticed they had Move. So it's where you move and you nominate whether you swim, whether you run and walk, or we've chosen swimming as an option. I know there are some guys out there that are riding. I know the other girl I work with, who's my relief, she's running as well. So M Parker, if she's watching, she's doing a Move as well. And I think it's really cool because Movember's so well known, and I was like, I wish I could participate. I can't grow a mo. I can't, and the fact that we could by moving, I was like, well, how good's this?
Yeah, that's great.
And it not only means I feel like I've set an example on site with the guys. It just, it's really cool. It's really cool, and I've really enjoyed it. It's making me overcome a personal challenge of getting back in the pool and overcoming fears and those mental demons of post-athlete blues. And I'm loving swimming again. So it's actually been really helpful. And the fact that we were able to fundraise some money for a good cause, it was just a bonus. It was great. And I want to thank anybody that's watching that's donated, because we have reached $500 already. So it's really good.
Oh, nice.
Really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so people can donate via, how can they actually get to your page?
So I have a link on my Facebook page. I have a link in my bio at my Instagram, which is open to public as well. You could also just log on to the Movember website and write my name in, Caitlin Mitchell, or our team name, Spud Mac. So
Spud Mac, where did that come from?
Spud Mac. So Caitlin, also very well known as Cato, and then you get Cato, Potato, Spud. Yeah. Right. So the association.
Creative, yeah.
But yeah.
That's
so
good.
yeah, if not, I'm sure they can hit you up or hit me up, and happy to send the link through. For sure.
Awesome. And another question. Would you become permanent resident or stay FIFO in the future?
That's a tough one. I think it really all depends on where it is. I think
Mm-hmm.
I mean, FIFO at the moment is still a great novelty. I still
Yep.
enjoy the flying in, the flying out, the airport bit. You know, you're
Yep.
still a novelty to me. I'm sure it'll
Mm-hmm.
wear off very soon.
Yep.
But being a permanent resident also intrigues me as well. I guess if
Mm-hmm.
the reason you get offered a permanent residency, there are certain perks of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd take it on. But I don't really know if there's too much available in that anymore either. So I think it just depends on the job that it is, where it's at, and where I'm at in my life, really. Because permanent residency would mean it's not just me; it affects everybody in my life.
Yep.
So if I have children or a husband by then, it really affects them as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I could
Cool.
keep my same job and be offered a permanent residency somewhere and it worked out well with my family, then I'd stay for sure.
Yeah. No, that's a good answer.
Mm.
Cool. Is there any other things that you'd like to share that we haven't touched on?
I don't think so. I think just when we were talking the other day,
Mm-hmm.
I guess all I would say is I know that my job is to offer things, and there are plenty of other TLCs or lifestyle coordinators, or whatever they're called, on sites.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Personal
up
trainers
to,
on site is
yeah,
probably the easiest if
yep,
people don't know anything about it.
yep,
Yeah.
the gym person, the gym
Yep.
chick, the gym guy,
Yep.
yeah, the guy that
Exactly.
everyone goes, oh, and covers their plate if they don't have salad on the dining. I don't care.
Yeah.
As much as we do what we do on the site,
Mm-hmm.
it's really up to the individual to make it what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we can offer events and we can do things on site, but it's up to the person to really make it what it is. You know, if
Yep.
you're just going to go to your room and eat and then go straight to your room to sleep, you know, if that's the lifestyle you're living and you're a bit unhappy or you want to change it, it does take a bit of time and it does take a bit of an effort to make that change,
Mm-hmm.
but it's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
It's all
Mm-hmm.
on you. You know, make it
Mm-hmm.
what it is. If you're up here working, some guys are up on sites for 4 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Surely in those 4 weeks you want to do something or be involved in something, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Don't stay hidden. Don't stay alone, because you're not alone. There's plenty of
Yep.
guys working FIFO, plenty in the
Mm.
same boat. Don't be
Yep.
alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Yeah. Good
But yeah.
advice. Cool. And I think that's it. Yeah. So, any more questions from any viewers? I don't see anything coming up. But yeah, I think that's everything. So, yeah, thanks very much for coming on the show,
No, thanks for having
Caitlin. I
me.
really appreciate your time. And yeah, thanks again for doing Movember and actually bringing it to my attention that I hadn't put anything up about it. So yeah, no, I appreciate it.
It happens. It happens. Any athletes out there, you know, you guys come and, you know, me or Fit for FIFO, you know, I'm actually interested to see if there are any athletes out there. I know there's a few on my
Yeah.
site that have had to, whether they've been forced out or if they've had to give up to work,
Yep.
you
Mhm.
know, it's
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
a
We'd like
tough
to
gig.
hear. Yeah, exactly.
It's a
Yeah,
tough
any
gig.
ex athletes or professionals that have got into FIFO, yeah, reach out. We'd love to hear your story.
I'm sure.
Yeah, cool. And
Cool.
yeah, just to finish up, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you aren't following us on any of those, please do. We appreciate your support. And I think that's about it, Caitlin. So
Yeah, cool. Thanks for having me,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. We'll stay in touch,
Sounds
and
good.
I'll chat to you shortly. I'll have to get you some details so I can get one of these out to you.
Yeah, sounds cool. Be good fun.
Sure. All right. No worries. Mum says good luck for Movember.
Thanks, Anne. I'll try.
Cool. All
Thanks,
right, we'll
guys.
finish it up
Appreciate it.
there. Cheers.
See ya.
Thanks, Caitlin. Bye.